Hmm. Hey there guys, Owlrex here, and today I am back with the Pokemon Fire Red Starter Run. Yes, I know many of you have been waiting for this, and I have too. It has been a challenge making this, but hopefully I've made it to all of your liking. So, um, with that, I will say this. This has been so long that, um, this was made earlier this year of 2022 of this year, and it was a hassle making it, I will say that much. But with that being said, let's go over the rules. That being, I can only use the Charizard line, the Pikachu line, and the Eevee line. You'll be seeing which evolution I choose with that. And with that, I can only use those guys in battle. I am allowing HM Pokemon, obviously. So if you see Pokemon in my party that aren't them, that's what they're for. So with that, let's get started as I go on to name my character Alex. And then, of course, with my rival character, I was thinking for a while, who should I use? And I realized that the perfect name for him was quite simple. Poop 2. So then I go and try and get in the long grass, but the professor stops me as I get my Charmander and name them Sally. I know they're a boy. Anyway, next up is the rival fight between Poop 2, where it's honestly my least favorite fight out of this whole game, as it's basically just a tutorial. I mean, I feel like people know what this is. It's remakes of the game, so I feel like people know how to fight with Pokemon. But with that, I just proceed to use a few scratches to get rid of my rival's starter and win the match. So, sorry Poop 2, but I won't be smelling you anytime soon. Next up is Franklin, my Pikachu that I catch in, where else, the forest that bug catchers go to die. Next up, Sally actually evolved just before the first gym. And I did this because if I didn't, I probably would have lost. So first up, obviously, is Brock, where he sends out his Geodude and I send out Sally. I proceed to start Metal Clawing the crap out of it, as it, well, tries to keep itself alive, but after just 2 Metal Claws, of course, after 3 Metal Claws, as it survived at a sliver. Obviously. Anyway, next up is his Onyx as he tries going for Rock Tombs, and I go for some Metal Claws once more, as they go for very weak tackles, which would eventually be its downfall as my Metal Claws take out the giant rock snake, winning me the battle. Next up, I go and see this really nice looking guy. Looks like he's all nice and all that, you know. Not a problem in the world could come from him, as he gives me a Magikarp for only 500 Pokédolls. Can you believe it? Man, such a nice guy. Next up, I get the Helix Fossil, praise Lord Helix, as I then go on to beat up my rival once more. As Poop 2, being the nice guy he is, sends out his Pidgeotto as I send out my Franklin. Franklin Thundershocks the little bird as it goes for sand attacks, which is definitely annoying, but luckily, after missing only once, Franklin is able to take out the smoking chicken. Next up is his Rattata, which I was thinking whether or not to leave Franklin in, so I decide to, though eventually, as he goes for a Mega Punch, which kills the rat. Next out is his Squirtle, but luckily one Pikachu is all it really takes to take out the Squirtle, as only 2 Thundershocks later, and we have Turtle Soup. Next out is his Abra, which I actually being Sally out for due to Franklin being low, which I honestly don't know why, as Abra only knows one move, that being Teleport. And can I honestly ask one thing? Why is it that at this point in the game, all you really need is a Pikachu with Mega Punch to basically win against him? I probably didn't even need Mega Punch, to be honest. I think that was just overkill at that point. Next up is the Water-type Gym Leader, Misty, as we go in with our Franklin as she sends out her Staryu. Of course, after just one Thundershock, that Staryu is dead as Starmie comes out. And obviously, a Thundershock does decent damage as she goes for Water Pulse, actually doing around the same amount. Luckily, he got that crit. I don't know if that would have helped, but hey, who knows, maybe it would have. Next up we go to see Bill. Oh, you're not Bill. Oh, you are? I'm very confused. So, okay. So do you need help? I'm guessing. Oh! Weird way to get out of your costume. Oh! Look at that. Little ticket. I'll take it. Next up on the SSN, we go to, of course, take on our rival once more. As, well, you can probably imagine, he sends out Pidgeotto, and Franklin has some fun, as I use Franklin's very newly learned Thunderbolt to take out the bird. Next up is Eradicate, as I decide to send in Sally for this one. But don't worry, nothing bad could possibly happen to this Eradicate, as Sally burns it alive. Yeah, it's fine. Definitely fine. What? Oh, it isn't? Oh. I kind of feel bad for that. Anyway, I send out Franklin as he then sends out his Wartortle. Yeah, I really don't know how he would have thought this would have went any other way. Next up is his Kadabra. Did I mention that Kadabra has terrible defenses when it comes to the non-special kind? Anyway, next up I rub this old man's back, and he gives me a knife. Not a bad trade. Not gonna lie. Next up is Lieutenant Surge. And honestly, not gonna lie, this one was actually kind of scaring me when I first did it, as I really had no counters. As he sends out his Voltorb, and I send out Sally, as I go for Embers and, well, a few smoke screens. I know it's not the most honorable strategy, but it's better than nothing. But obviously, it works as he sends out his Pikachu, and one Ember does the job. But it's his Raichu that I was kind of afraid of. As you can see, fire moves obviously don't do as much as I'd like, and due to his attacking moves such as Shockwave and yeah, Thunderwave sucks. Anyway, next up is Franklin. As well, one punch to the jaw does not work, as he gets Thunderwaved and Shockwave. You can kind of tell why I was kind of worried about this. And yes, I do use a Paralyze heal. I promise that in the next video I will not be using items. Anyway, after one Mega Punch though, Franklin's actually able to take out the big rat, so that's fun. People are gonna hate this just for that. Anyway, Sally actually finally evolves into a Charizard. One of my favorites, and probably many other favorites. But honestly, I'm pretty sure all of you are wondering when he was coming out, and luckily it was soon. Next, I got to give this guy some tea so that he would leave me alone. And as a result, I then went to go get my Eevee, who I am naming after my good friend RJ. If you see a pattern here, good job. You get a cookie. Next up, I see this creepy old man. No, I'm not dealing with that. Anyway, next up, Erica's gym. As she sends out her victory bell, and I send out my walking flamethrower. As I go for a wing attack, which, well, honestly, I feel like I shouldn't even have to talk about what happens here. Huh? I do? Alright, fine. Well, yeah, obviously, Flamethrower is going to destroy her Tangela. That comes out next, as she then sends out her Vileplume, who, after, well, one Flamethrower, wins. Next up, I actually evolve both Franklin and, well, my Eevee. As you can tell, I did this because, if you didn't know, Charizard is said to be the worst in Kanto, and I felt like I needed help. Trust me, the Blastoise video will have no one else interfering, I promise. Next up, we go to see the Team Rocket, as we find out that there's this really nice guy. I mean, look at him. He looks all nice in that suit. Oh, he's battling us? Oh, okay. Giovanni sends out Ode Onyx, as I send out RJ, as he goes for some pretty nasty I'm sorry, I couldn't even be having a straight face with that. Anyway, RJ obviously takes out both his Rhyhorn with it. He Water Pulse, and his Onyx with a Water Pulse. As Giovanni then sends out his Kangaskhan. I thought about switching RJ out, but then I decided to keep him in. But after a fake out, which did way more than it should, I realized that was a bad idea. So I send out Sally as I go for some very, very useful wing attacks and flamethrowers, which can definitely do enough to take out this guy. Hopefully we'll never have to see him again, because that Kangaskhan is terrifying. Next we go to the Pokemon Tower, and Poop, what are you doing here? Why are you acting so sad? Oh, battle? Okay. Well, he sends out his Pidgeotto as I send out RJ. And honestly, I kind of forgot that I probably should have sent out Franklin. And whatever. I hit the Pidgeotto though with 2 Water Pulses to take it out. As Poop, well, then sends out none other than his favorite little execute. I'm not even going to talk here. I think you know what happens next. Yep. Next up is War Turtle, as I send out my electric buzzsaw. And of course, we all know what happens when water meets lightning, as a thunderbolt takes out the War Turtle. Next up is Growlithe, and I feel like RJ is the best pick for this, as I send him out, and the Intimidate. Oh no. Whatever shall I do? Anyway, next up is Kadabra, as I decide to send out Sally to, well, have a bit of fun with some fire. Remind you of anything, buddy? Oh god, that's even dark for me. Okay. Next up we go to Silphco, where What are you doing? I just killed your creatures again. Oh. Oh, Pidgeotto, huh? And a quick attack. That's adorable. Hey, watch this. Franklin! Franklin? Hello? Huh. That's weird. I think they're usually, There we go. Okay. Anyway, he looks like Franklin finally listened with a Thunderbolt. Honestly, I'm not sure what happened there. Next up is Poof's Growlithe, and RJ gets to come and play, as he goes for a good old-fashioned Water Pulse. Yeah, I feel like we all knew what was about to happen. Next up is Execute once more, and do I really need to say what happens next? Never mind. Alright, so I kind of forgot about that. Anyway, next up is, yeah, after Thunderbolt and a Mega Punch, yeah, Franklin has a good time. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. Okay, anyway, next up is Alakazam, and a good old-fashioned, you gotta be kidding me, 2 flamethrowers takes it out. I don't like that at all. Anyway, next up is none other than Franklin, who gets to have a fun little time giving Blastoise a... Really? Twice. And the Future Sight, obviously. Anyway, after giving the Blastoise 2 toasters, we come out on top. Seriously, Poop, step up your game, man. Yeah, Elite Four, uh-huh. Hey, who... Poop, why'd you mess up on this? Seriously. I just got a Lapras for free. Idiot. Next up, of course, Giovanni? Again? Oh my god! Oh, whatever shall I do? Oh, I mean, I guess we'll just have to use a Franklin. Make a punch him right in the face, why don't you? Oh. Well, next up is good old-fashioned RJ. Yeah, RJ. That's what I meant. Okay, good. Anyway, next up is Nidoqueen. Why do you have a Nidorino still? Anyway, RJ uses a good old-fashioned... okay, why isn't this doing as much? Whatever. After Aurora Beam and 2 Water Pulses, we finally win. I forgot about the Kangaskhan. Anyway, as they bring out Kangaskhan, we bring out the flamethrower. I'm sensing a pattern here. Anyway, after 2 flamethrowers, we finally win and take care of... Oh, come on! After 1 more Rhyhorn bites the dust, we win. Okay, Giovanni, can you go now? Hey, like seriously. And he disappears, okay. Anyway, we then get the... Ooh, Master Ball. I'll be taking that. Thank you. Who are you? Anyway. Don't know what happened there. Anyway, next up is the fight against Serena. She sends out her Kadabra. And I, of course, send out my Franklin. And as everyone knows, Electric is very effective against Psychic. Huh? Oh, it isn't? I thought it was. Really? Huh. Why isn't it? It would make sense. Whatever. Anyway, next up is the Mr. Thank you. Anyway, RJ takes out the Mr. Mime with a few water pulses, and as it then hits itself, we then get Venomoth. Seriously, I don't get why exactly I should be afraid of this. After Flamethrower, the Venomoth is down, and next up is, of course, Franklin once more to take on the Alakazam. And, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, look, I did some double teaming. I get it, not a lot of people would like this, but, it's either that or die to a Psychic Clear Mine. And I still get hit by that. You can tell why I was double teaming now, right? Next up is Sally as I go for a Flamethrower. And Alakazam uses Recover. You're making it that way, aren't you? Anyway, after another Psychic that nearly takes out Sally, we can take out the Alakazam with a Flamethrower. I am not gonna lie, Sabrina kind of scares me sometimes. I don't know. Let's hope we don't lose to an Alakazam anytime soon. I then teach my RJ a actually good water type move in the form of Surf. Seriously, why doesn't he know a lot of water type moves? Like, I feel like that should just be something he should have. Anyway, next up is of course none other than the Ninja Boy himself, Koga. And as you can tell, I wasn't very scared as Coughing comes out, and I show him how a Flamethrower works with Sally. Of course, then comes out his annoying Muck as I start spamming the Flamethrower, and it goes for Minimize. It's only cool when I do it, everyone knows that. Anyway, after another Flamethrower, that Muck is down, and next comes out his Coughing, his other one, as I go for a Slash, which I probably should have just went for a Flamethrower. That works way better. But after 2 slashes, it's out anyway, so But next up is Wheezing. As I think about it for a second, but then realize I can probably take him out as I go for a Flamethrower too. Of course. Anyway, next up is another Flame. I am burning you. Okay, after using a wing attack to stop it from using heals, it then toxics me. Of course you do. As I then go for... Okay, so I send out Franklin because I am done with this. As it goes for a few sludges, I go for a Thunderbolt. Thank you. As we finally win against this. I don't know about the rest of you, but Koga has always given me trouble whenever I try and take him on. I don't know. He's just one of my least favorite gym leaders due to that, at least in terms of fighting. Next up is none other than the man himself, Blaine. And of course, obviously I get some burn heals. Because this fight went so terribly. I couldn't even keep a straight face. Oh no, I just used Surfa and the Growlithe, which I think we all know what happens as it goes down. As then next up is his Ponyta. And as we all know, water and fire do not go well as the Ponyta goes down to one surf. Next up is Rapidash, and obviously I'm staying in as I hit another surf. If you couldn't tell, surf is actually good. Next up is his Arcanine, as well, an Intimidate definitely would be annoying if it wasn't for surf. You know, it just feels good sometimes to do that. Sorry, Blaine, but I didn't even need to buy burn heals for you. How do you feel about that? Oh. Guess you weren't mad. Huh. Next up is Giovanni. And... how do I put this gently? You should have kept your Kangaskhan. As he brings out his Rhyhorn, I bring out my Strength. Maybe that wasn't the best idea. Anyway, I then go for an Iron Tail that misses as he just sets up more and more scary faces. As I finally do hit one Iron Tail, as he keeps going for scary face. Next up is a Pokemon I honestly just should have sent from the beginning, RJ. As Giovanni heals. Well, that was a waste. After one serve, it is down, and, well, next up is Nidoqueen. And I sent... oh, wait. I meant Dugtrio. I knew what I was saying. Wait a minute. Next up is RJ, yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. He was always there from the beginning. I mean, as he goes for a surf and takes it out. Yeah. There's the Nidoqueen. Yeah, I actually said Dugtrio the first time. Yes, I did. Don't even try it. Mikey, shut up before I come over there. Next up is, well, none other than the Nidoqueen King himself. You have fallen. And obviously, with that, we finally... oh, I always forget about that last Rhyhorn. Yeah, that's probably why. Anyway, now we finally get our very last gym badge and Hydro Pump to boot. Honestly, not a bad day. But obviously, you know, that means no more Team Rocket, at least until the sequels. And, of course, we can finally head on to the Pokemon League. Which, we'll see how well that goes. What? Bill, no. No, I'm not going. Leave me alone. Yeah, that's right. Go away. Next up is, well, the fight against none other than Poop. Seriously, dude, you've been losing every single time. You really think you have a chance? Okay, if you insist. He sends out his Pidgeot as I send out my Franklin. As... yeah, Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's how I like it. Next up is his R... or no, next up is my RJ, as he sends out Rhyhorn? Huh. When did you get that? Well, it's gone now. And next up is his Execute. Next up is his Blastoise as I send out my Chainsaw. And he uses a Thunderbolt, which... oh. Doesn't that only help me? Oh wait, no, I don't have Thunder. Dang it. Anyway, yep, after 2 Thunderbolts, that takes him out pretty quickly. And next up is Growlithe, who intimidates again. As the rain continues to fall, and you've screwed yourself over more. However, the Intimidate did actually do one good thing, and that was keeping you alive for one more turn. Until now. Ah, you love it. You love to see it. But next up is Alakazam, as I keep in Franklin, as, well, the rain continues to fall. And unfortunately, it looked like a critical lightning strike came down to get rid of the good old-fashioned old man. And with that, let's just head on to the Pokemon League. And hey, wait. What do you... huh. Oh, we'll probably never see him again. Alright, let's go over my team's moveset with RJ, who's none other than Surf, Bite, Aurora Beam, Hydro Pump. Franklin, who knows Thunderbolt, Strength, Double Team, and, well, Iron Tail. And, of course, my own very great starter, Sally, who knows none other than Aerial Ace, Earthquake, Flamethrower, and Dragon Claw. Honestly, not gonna lie, I feel like this team would probably do pretty good. So, let's find out. First up is Elite Four member Lorelei, and you'll see why I don't like this battle as much. Anyway, we start off with RJ as she sends out Dugong, as I go for a Surf and she goes for a Hail. And before you ask, the reason I sent out RJ was to keep Franklin above a certain amount. I wanted to keep healing to a minimum. Turns out that wouldn't happen, because as I go for a good old-fashioned bite, she hits me with an Ice Beam, and the Hail is definitely not helping it. Seriously, I don't get it. Why does this game keep making me, like, almost die at a sliver? Anyway, I finally decide to send out my Electric Mouse, as she hits me with a pretty hard Ice Beam. Seriously. Anyway, next up is a Thunderbolt, which takes it out. Next up is her Cloyster, as I keep it in Franklin and go for a Thunderbolt. Good. Next up is, well, her Slowbro, as I, of course, there you go, me, I keep in Franklin, going for another Thunderbolt. Good. Next up is her Lapras, actually, which comes out as I decide to go for one more Thunderbolt, which for... okay, so, never mind. After 2 thunderbolts on this thing, we finally get rid of it. As she then sends out her Jinx. Okay, you're about to see why I hate this. As I go for a flamethrower, and she lovely kisses me. As I go for a full heal to try and get rid of the sleep, as she goes for a full restore. As I then go for another flamethrower. Yep. Anyway, after I full heal, she... Seriously, what? I don't get it. Okay. Anyway, I go for a full restore, she goes for an attract, but luckily due to the fact that Aerial Ace doesn't miss, I decide to use that. And, well, with that, we finally beat Lorelei. What the fu- Next up is Elite Four member Bruno. Anyway, let's hope this goes way better. As he starts off with his Onyx, I go for Sally. Oh, that's why. As I use an Earthquake, and it uses a Rock Tomb. I feel like you should have stronger moves than that. Anyway, another Earthquake comes in as it takes out the Rock Snake. Next up is his Hitmonchan, as I go for an Aerial Ace. Obviously. Next... What the heck? As he goes for a full restore, I go for another Aerial Ace. As I then realize I'm gonna need to heal, I use a Hyper Potion. I know, not the best strategy, but hey. As he goes for a Sky Uppercut. I then go for one last Aerial Ace to take it out. As he sends out his Hitmonchan. Or no. What did I say? Hitmonchan. His Machamp. As he goes for a Bulk Up, I go for an Aerial Ace as... Okay, do all of his... Oh. Anyway, he takes out Sally as I go for Franklin, going for a Thunderbolt. As he then eats a Citrus Berry. Anyway, one Thunderbolt later takes out the big boy. As he sends out his Onyx, I send out RJ. As I go for a Surf, and yeah, I feel like we all knew what was going to happen. Next up is his Hitmonchan, as I send out, or no, Hitmonlee, as I send out Franklin. Yeah, see, I'm getting better at it, I'm getting better. As I go for 2 Thunderbolts to finally take out the Bruce Lee knockoff. Okay. That's 2 Elite Four down, 1 to go. Or no, 2 to go. I'm tired, okay? Next up is none other than Agatha, who apparently knew Oak. Well, let's see how well this goes. As she sends out her Gengar, that was her first one, I send out my Sally, going for a Flamethrower, which unfortunately does not KO, as she goes for a double team. Luckily, Aerial Ace doesn't lose. Next up is her Golbat, but yeah, I feel like we all know what's about to happen, as a Flamethrower takes it out with a crit. Not gonna lie, probably could have used that a bit ago, but whatever. Next up is our Arbok, as I go for a Earthquake. As unfortunately it doesn't hit as much as I like, as she goes for a Sludge Bomb and Poisons. Next up is another Earthquake, as that takes out her Snack. Next up is her Gengar, as I keep in Sally, but the poison's definitely starting to get to me at this point, as I go for a flamethrower and a sludge bomb. Takes them to red HP with the poison, and a citrus berry doesn't help. So I decide to send it an RJ, as they take a shadow ball. Luckily it wasn't too much though. But a hypnosis hits. Luckily that means I can send out oh really? Alright, fine. Then they go for a sludge bomb, but a flamethrower is able to take out the Gengar. And with that comes out her last Pokemon, her Haunter. As unfortunately Sally is still poisoned, but luckily it's only going to take 2 Dragon Claws to take her out. As that mean look really did not do anything good for her. 3 Elite Four members down, 1 to go. Next up is Lance, where, of course, using his powerful dragon... No, wait a minute, what are we talking about? He's a bird keeper all the way. As he sends out his Gyarados, and I send out my Sally. Yeah, I realized pretty quickly that was a bad idea, as I then send out Franklin, as he goes for a Dragon Rage. Luckily, Sally then goes for a Thunderbolt, taking out the Serpent. And next up is, well, none other than Sally, as he sends out his Dragonair, as I go for a Dragon Claw, which, of course. Anyway, he then uses a full restore, as I go for another Dragon Claw. Never mind, make that 2. To take out the dragon. Next up is his Aerodactyl. Yeah, I feel like we all know what happens whenever water and fossils meet. But just before I take out the pterodactyl, of course he does. As he goes for a Hyper Beam and almost takes out RJ. Anyway, next up is his second Dragonair as I send out my Sally. As I then decide to go for a Max Potion on RJ to, well, do it just in case, as he hits me with a Thunder Wave. I then go for a Dragon Claw as I go for an Outrage, which is a critical hit, where I am then paralyzed. Twice. Yeah, I get the memo and send out RJ. And luckily, the Dragonair is then fatigued as I go for an Aurora Beam. But it doesn't KO. Luckily, it hits itself in its confusion, but then gets a full restore. Luckily, an Aurora Beam does pretty good damage, as 2 are able to take out the Dragonair. Next up is Dragonite, as, well, I think we all know what happens whenever ice meets this type of dragon, as all it takes is 2 Aurora Beams to take out this pseudo-legendary. Champion, as we meet our rival Poop. And I think we all know what needs to happen. We start the match with Poop sending out Pidgeot, and I send out Sally. Where I then decide to send out Franklin because I accidentally forgot to switch Sally, and them. My bad. Luckily, Franklin is able to do a static and then do a thunderbolt. Next up is Rhydon as I send out RJ. And with that, one surf is all that's needed to take out the Rhydon. Next up is Executor. Do I even need to say what happens next? Yeah. Next up is Blastoise, as I send out my Franklin. Going for a Thunderbolt to, unfortunately, not take it out, but definitely do at least decent damage, especially since just how lower level I am. But the Citrus Berry heals up a bit of health. Luckily, 2 Thunderbolts is all that is needed. Next up is Alakazam, as RJ gets to come out and play. As I go for a bite, and he goes for a tackle. But, unfortunately... no, not a tackle. I'm stupid sometimes. I meant the Psychic. As he goes for another Psychic, and I realize that Surf may be the only option. Next up is Arcanine, but... yeah, even with that Intimidate, I feel like we all know what happens. Oh. Never mind. Well, yeah, no, RJ comes in clutch here. And takes out the Arcanine. And with that, we have become the champion of the Pokemon League. Not gonna lie, I didn't think we had it in us, but with that, it looks like we've finally done it. And at the end of this very long and arduous journey, we have finally made it once more to the Hall of Fame. Honestly, though, I will have to say, I really like this challenge, guys. It was a lot of fun using these guys. And honestly, just star runs in general are some of my favorites. So, with that being said, are you guys excited for none other than the next Pokemon games coming out? Scarlet and Violet. I've already pre-ordered my copy of Scarlet, and, well, if anything, who knows, maybe I'll be able to record my very first run-through of it. Probably not, but who knows at this point. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I've had a lot of fun playing this game. And don't worry, the next star run will not take nearly as long as this one. I promise. But with all that, thank you guys for watching. Have a good time, and see ya next time.